everybody and welcome back to Elle the Law Student. I thought that I would speak a little bit today about how to deal with stress and anxiety while studying. This is something that I struggled with for a really long time. I've also had some professional help and medical help, which I'm not going to go into, but I thought that making this video might be quite helpful because it's basically going to be about some of the coping mechanisms that I use and just things that I do to help myself de-stress, make myself a bit less anxious. And so if you've got mild anxiety, you're looking for another way to add some kind of self-love into your life, or you just kind of get quite stressed about uni, which everybody does, I thought that this would be quite helpful. The first thing that sounds a little bit cliche, but that I find really helps is exercise. Try to go to the gym about 3 times a week. I do it whilst I'm at home and I do it whilst I'm in Oxford, and last year, although I didn't have a gym membership, I would go for a run most nights. I tend to go to the gym in the morning just because I find that in the morning that's when I'm most anxious, and so if I get up at about 6, head to the gym and then get back and I'm ready to study by 9, I've kind of got it all out my system, you know, and it just really helps me. Sometimes I go to gym classes, which I find really nice just because of that sense of community there and the motivation. But yeah, you can get some really great student discounts on gym memberships. I go to Pure Gym in Oxford, and so if you are looking for a gym that would be good as a student, then Pure Gym is pretty good. Next thing is to plan out your time, but also be kind to yourself if that plan doesn't go to plan. I find planning out my time really comforting because it shows me that I actually can get things done in the time that I have, because at university or when you're doing your A-levels or GCSEs, it can feel like you've got this mountain of work or society things or just anything, and you're not going to be able to get through it. Making a plan that actually gives you a little bit of slack at the end in case things don't go to plan will really help that. However, as I said, sometimes that's not actually a very healthy path for people to take, because if they don't stick to their plan, things go wrong, they're not very kind to themselves about that, and so it's really just about you and your personality. Something that I really worry about is kind of people watching study tubers and looking at study Instagram accounts for motivation. I think it's like anything on social media, you don't know the full story, you don't know how long these people are actually spending studying, you don't know what their mental health is like. If you enjoy looking at them, then go for it. I do, I know I like looking at people's kind of beautifully colour-coded notes, but sometimes I have to take a step out from that because I look at these people and I think, oh god, I'm not doing enough work, but you just need to do what you need to do to get by. Something that I was told before that I found super helpful is challenging yourself to sit with the discomfort. So I often struggle with pulling myself away from work and not feeling guilty about not working. The way I view it is a bit of a challenge. I view it as a challenge to myself that I sit with that discomfort, and that is something that I need to do, and over time that discomfort becomes a lot easier to manage. Something that I should add, that in that plan that you're making should definitely be plenty of time for cooking for yourself, for spending time with friends, for making a phone call home, for doing society things. There should be time blocked out that is for you, and for me one of those most important times is from about 6-7 p.m. onwards. I really need to make more of an effort to make sure that I'm stopping working in an evening, but when I do make that effort I feel so much better. If nothing else, it gives you a point of the day that you're kind of aiming towards. If an essay that you're writing is a bit of a slog, you're like, okay, it's fine, I'll get it done by 7, and then I've got a good few hours to just kind of spend on me. This is where things like group cooking come in, going to a dance class, going to the gym if you like, reading a book, watching some Netflix, doing all of these things. It's just really great. I try to make sure that my kind of nighttime is quite in a pretty good routine. It doesn't always work, and that's something I'm going to work on more in the coming year. Making sure that I kind of get into my room, wash my face, clean my teeth, just have a good amount of time that's actually just on my own, away from everything. Something that I use to then help me relax is kind of different scents that I then associate with nighttime. A couple of those are these ones from This Works. This is the Sleep Together Calming Spray. This one is the Deep Sleep Pillow Spray. These are both by This Works, which is quite an expensive brand. However, they do last a long time. You just need a couple of spritzes of them. This one actually came in my advent calendar this year, which was pretty good. And this one I got for my birthday. Something else that really helps me relax for the night is writing down how I'm feeling. I don't tend to do this all the time, but I did it a lot last year when I was really struggling with anxiety. I would basically keep a notebook at the side of my bed, and each night before I went to bed, if I'd had a particularly stressful day, I would just write down like what I was feeling, what went well that day, what didn't go well that day, and it's the most bizarre thing, but it actually was so helpful. I think especially because the next day I would look at what I'd written and think, okay, actually at the time that seemed like a big deal, but in reflection that is just not, that doesn't matter at all. It's done now, it's gone. I'm also somebody who struggles quite a lot with sleeping at night, and I can credit this next tip to my head of sixth form, Mr. Howell. He told me that when he was at university and struggling to sleep, he would listen to audiobooks, and that's something that I've done ever since he told me that when I can't sleep. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, that's a good one. I just listen to it on YouTube. I put in my headphones, and Stephen Fry has a really soothing voice, but I put it on low enough so that I don't really focus on it, but the fact that I have something happening in my brain means that I'm not overthinking about everything else that I've got to do. And I mean, when I was doing my A-levels and really struggling to sleep, that was an absolute lifesaver. That technique worked so well. I think the main takeaway from this video is just to be kind to yourself, and it's something that I still struggle with now. Right now, for example, it is 11 o'clock and I feel incredibly guilty that I'm sat here filming a video rather than downstairs working. That's just me having to sit with the discomfort. You just have to remember that you yourself will perform so much better if you give yourself these breaks, if you really look after yourself, if you take care of what you're eating, if you make sure you're getting some fresh air and exercise. If things do get a bit too tough, then that's okay as well. These aren't like cure-all techniques. Make sure that you're going to speak to your university welfare officer, the counselling service, the GP, and just in general making sure that you're talking to other people about how you're feeling can just take such a massive weight off your shoulders. The amount of times I've just sat down in the kitchen at the end of the day and just said, I feel shit, and then somebody will say, okay, let's talk about it, and after you've kind of had a bit of a rant and that sort of thing, you do feel so much better. And if you don't feel so much better, then you think, okay, I need to do something about this, and that's where you take those next steps. University can be really tricky, as can A-levels and GCSEs and all of these things, so please don't beat yourself up if you feel like you're not good enough, that you shouldn't be feeling this stressed, all of these things. It's okay to take time for yourself, and it's okay to be kind to yourself, and your academic life is not your life, even though it can sometimes feel like it. See you very soon. If this video was helpful, then please let me know, and I'll kind of do some more similar welfare-y things. I did a video about mental health with Cade maybe a month ago now, which I'll link down below because that might be quite helpful, especially since we did talk a little bit about men's mental health. That's it for today. I'll see you soon. Bye.